It's June 13 of year 2000, and yesterday I made the trade for a Phantazm truck for a 1997 white Chevrolet crew cab dually turbo diesel automatic. I'll be trading the truck as a stock truck without the stereo system, so I'll be putting it back in condition that it was when I bought it, with the exception that I am going to let the camper shell go with the truck. So very shortly I'll begin the disassembly process, start the removal of the stereo system. But before I do that, I wanted to get the last bit of video to show the system in operation. Starting at the front, we have a charging system upgraded. Installation of the charging system was done by Michael Flippin, Flip Starter and Alternator in Paris, Texas. We have two 190 amp power line alternators, and they are controlled by a pair of Transpo 911 regulators. The alternator to the inside charges the truck battery and a battery in the rear for the mids and highs. It runs to a battery isolator and is split and fused to the truck battery, and it goes to the back to charge a single battery in the rear, the mids and highs. The other alternator runs through a fuse to two batteries in the rear, and that is dedicated to driving the sub system. The head unit consists of a Kenwood KDC PS900 CD player with digital bus. From there we run to a HiFonics Epsilon, which is a preamp and has tone control balance. The control of the various components of the system is accomplished by a set of toggle switches mounted in the overhead console. Also in the console is a set of stereo VE meters that I built at 30 independent steps. From the Epsilon preamp, I go behind the seat to a Plato graphic equalizer with adjustable center frequencies. And to help eliminate noise from front to the rear transmission, from that I go to a Phoenix Gold, the balancing act transmitter. Converts a signal to a balance line output, and there's a TBA receiver in the rear to receive that signal and convert it back to high impedance. Below is the Kenwood C705 CD player. It's a 10-disc changer. It uses a digital bus. To my knowledge, this unit was never released in the United States. This was provided to me as a demo from Kenwood, and they got it through customs from their Japanese market. Also located behind the seat, providing mid-bass support, there's a pair of 10-inch subs. Here I'm using the HiFonics Zeus. This is a tune imported enclosure. The tune frequency is 90 Hertz. And this box, I designed the box, but it was actually constructed by Ronnie Jumper. And while we're at the front, take a look at the door panels. There's 8 speakers in each door. The configuration is made up of 2 soft dome tweeters. All speakers are HiFonics, with the exception of the dash speakers. These are soft dome tweeters. For upper mids, we have a set of soft dome mid-range. And for the lower mids, we have 4 5¼ inch cone drivers. And these are common to each door. The original Silverado door panel was replaced by a Cheyenne door panel with a box built onto it. In order to do that, to build the box, I had to relocate the window controls to the front. In restoring the truck, I can simply pull this panel off and put the original Silverado panels back on. The power from the front comes to the rear underneath the truck and comes into this point where it's fused to protect it both from the front and the rear. Also seen in this picture, the small cans mounted vertically are contactors. With a switch in the front, I can turn the entire system on and off, and that's done with these power contactors. The power flow devices are 1.2 farad capacitors. There's one for the mids and highs and one for each bass amp. The contact circuit breakers to the left, Phoenix Gold, are for the subwoofer amplifiers. The HiFonics Colossus, there's one for each amplifier. There's 3 fuses in the bottom. 2 of them are from the 2 runs coming from the front from each alternator, and the third one is to protect from the battery going to the amplifiers in the rear. Made loops in the wire in order to use a clamp-on ammeter. Here's a full view of the rear. Signal coming from the front comes to the TBA receiver, which is mounted on the left, balance line in. From there I'm running the signal to a Phoenix Gold base cube. The output of that is enhanced and allows me to tune the Q of the box in the system for the subwoofers. There's 3 crossovers in the system. This is set up as a 5-way crossover network. The Callisto below is splitting as a 4-way. So I have the subs, the mid bass, the lower mids fed directly from that. The higher frequencies are then fed up to a Janus, which splits it to the 4th and 5th, which is the upper mids and tweeters. The other Janus is set up for the dash speakers, and I'm only running one output, and that's simply to filter the lows out of the dash speakers. This is the power distribution to all the individual amplifiers and processors and everything up front. All the audio system is fed from a single point at the back. This is where it breaks out. Each line is fused. The larger lines below go to the amplifiers, the smaller lines go to processors and equipment in the front. On the other side, each speaker line is fused and protected, and those are also done with the Phoenix Gold fuse blocks. We have a single ground point for everything, and it runs through these blocks here. The fuse to the right is actually used as the speaker fuse for the subs, and there's one of these on each side, one for each amplifier. These are the amps for the system. We start in the front with a Vulcan, which is a 100-watt amplifier. This particular amplifier runs the dash speakers. The Odins run on this one the upper mids and tweeters. The Colossus, of course, 1200 watts or 1800 watts bridged, as it is here, runs 8 of the 1615s located in the rear of the truck. The other Colossus runs the other 8. On the right hand side we have 2 Odins starting from the back that run the lower mids and the mid bass. The Vulcan in the front is actually not used. It was intended to run a rear stage, rear fill, which was never installed. And this is mounted at the back of the enclosure for the 1615s. And this is a view from the front looking into the subwoofer enclosure housing the 1615s. On each side, one speaker at the top was mounted backwards. Various reasons for that. One reason is the port that you see to the bottom left-hand corner goes in and turns up into the upper enclosure. Because of the size of the magnets on the Zeus drivers, there was not enough clearance for the magnet inside the box, so I reversed it. It is wired out of phase with the other speakers, so the total system will be in phase. Another reason for doing that, as it turns out, is to show both sides of the speaker. As this was designed as a demo vehicle, this let possible customers of HiFonics see both sides of the speakers. There's the equivalent of a 3-inch port per woofer. On each side, the top 3 are in a single enclosure. A group of 4 in the middle on each side are in a single enclosure. And there's 2 drivers down below. For the middle group of speakers, 2 of the ports are the circular ports located here. The 2 additional ports are located below. Each of the gaps that you see at each side, the cross-sectional area is the same as that of a 3-inch circular port. It goes underneath and is ported up into the enclosure. So what you're seeing is actually 4 ports, 2 from each side. There's also neon installed in the enclosure and in the amp rack in the rear. Some of the additional features of the truck itself include a functional cowl induction hood, progressive wheels, ground effect running boards, and shaved door handles. Entry is achieved by use of the remote control through the alarm system, which actuates the driver's side door. The only real body modification I had done to the truck was a reversal of the tailgate handle. It's the Bell Tech reversing kit, so it would have a smooth tailgate.